Welcome back. I'm saying welcome back to Priscilla mainly.
I know. We were recording and then something happened with the computer and then we crashed and burned. But we're back.
So I'm just welcoming her back to the episode because here we are. I'm kind of sad because we were kind of discussing something about college and whatnot. Because you had said that you're working a lot right now.
Yes.
An event's about to take place in less than 7 days, and so you're crazy, obviously. And you guys, she still takes the time to record with me.
I know.
So
I've tried to drop recording with you several times, and you won't take no for an answer.
I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll be over there at.
No, I really do like it. I really do need it. It's just, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on right now.
Sometimes it's hard, because with a lot going on, it's not just like, oh, like, I don't feel like it. It's just like, gosh, there's like so much. Like, is there really time?
Yeah.
But I appreciate you making time.
Yes, of course. I love you.
I love you too. We were talking about tea.
Yes. So, the little ones have been really good. They're a handful, but they're really, really good. And the older one has been really good, but I think because she was gone and she missed us. And she's really focused on her studies right now.
I do love that. Really focused. Which it's good. Obviously, she's realizing that it's super important. This year, the last couple years have been important, but this is so important.
I think that she was so in a cloud for so long about how much time she really had. And I feel like now that she's coming to the point where this is her senior year, next year it's shit or get off the pot as far as like, you're either going to go to college or what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And she sees the capabilities of bettering herself and doing something that she wants to do. And so she is really trying to be on her stuff and be on her A game, which I'm very happy about. I'm nervous that she's not a multitasker, and that's going to be difficult. She gets
tunnel vision.
Yes. And then that's all she can focus on. Even though she's not just focusing on that, she is still breaking away from it. She is still whatever, but she can't be busy in multiple areas of her life. That concerns me.
So, do you think it is part of I don't necessarily want to say do you think she has OCD or whatever, but you know how some people have to finish this before they move on.
I think she's got a little OCD. I mean, if you've looked at her room.
No, I know. I'm not going to tell you I think that about your kid until you tell me.
No, I think I've always
You
noticed,
also have OCD.
I do.
And it's good that you've come to terms with that.
Yes.
I feel like it took you a while.
It has taken me a long time because I feel like
I'm not OCD. I'm just this is how I like it.
Yeah. Yes. But I see that I do have a little bit, and you know what? Okay, let me finish this and then I'll say the next thing. But I do have a little OCD. I do have a little anxiety, a little bit. And I see those things in her. Right. And just like I see things about her in her that are her dad. And I see things in her that are neither one of us, that are just her, but I have noticed that she was very young. Her pens, her pencils, the way she has things organized. The way she has her room organized makes no fucking sense to me. And it drives me bonkers.
But that's perfect because it needs to make sense to her.
But she absolutely, it makes perfect sense to her in her head.
Yeah.
And there are, she is very messy when it comes to, clothes and just throwing shit all over the place. But when it comes to, actually, she can pick all that up quickly, right? Yeah. When it comes to, her actual things, she has to have order. and there's like a drawer for everything. There's a place for everything, which is very me. Like I am a very like
gets that from you.
There's a place for everything,
right?
You know. So I do see little things like that about her, but my concern is that, well, there's two things. One, I'm going to sound like, an old biddy again and say, I feel like these kids today don't understand the hustle, and they don't understand the multitasking. And you multitask because you don't get it done unless you do. There's too much. And you know what? Don't tell me as a kid you're stressed or you're busy, because I feel like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? You know that life gets fucking harder, right?
It does.
It doesn't get fucking easier.
But here's the thing is that in their head, it is stressful, right? Like they are feeling the pressures and stuff like that. But that's all part of like not being fully developed. Like their minds aren't fully developed.
Right.
They are not, which is why kids should not be making crazy decisions that are going to change their entire future right now, because they're not developed. You know, things seem hard right now or this or that, but we know that it only gets harder.
Right.
Yes, you are able to adapt because you continue to grow and your brain continues to develop, so you can get through it. And by no means are they in a more stressful situation than adults, you know? Right. But to them, they are. And they really, so kind of along with the hustle part that you were saying, I was just telling Hayden, I've been on top of him about like assignments and things like that, just making sure that everything's been turned in. We're on top of stuff. He had a really horrible year last year, not a great 8th grade year. So it's just kind of like, I'm just like going to be a pain in his butt the entire year, which is fine. It is what it is. But I told him, do you have any homework? And he was like, no, I finished everything in class. And I was like, he goes, I finished in class, and then we had like a whole nother hour to do pretty much nothing. And I said, that's what worries me, is that why are they doing so little?
Yeah.
They're not learning enough.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like, well, I mean, I've said it before in other podcasts. I think like this was just Friday night. So Friday night, Georgia says something, and the girls are all with me in the living room, all three of them. And we're talking about, I don't know, something. Georgia was looking at her homework or something. And I can't remember how it came up, but Georgia said, I don't even know how to study, Mom. And I go, well, don't worry. Your sister doesn't either. And Tristan's like, what? But I'm like, but I feel like they really did not teach our kids how to study.
Remember when you would create an outline?
Yeah.
Do my kids know how to do that?
Yeah.
Have they ever done one?
Every teacher now is like, oh, we just do the work in the classroom, and they take home whatever is left.
But that's rarely, what we used to do too. We just had homework also.
Yeah.
Like classwork is classwork and homework is homework.
Even in Tristan's, there was only, I would say her AB English had a lot of AP. Did I say AB? Mm-hmm. AP English had a lot of homework and a lot of reading and a lot of writing. So that one was very intense. But other than that, there really wasn't. And she took multiple AP classes during fucking COVID, which was a disaster.
Right.
But I just didn't feel like there was a whole lot of homework ever. And even from early on, going into like her 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. It
seems to lighten up.
Yeah.
Right? Don't you feel like it's like at some point they are doing everything and then they stop doing certain things.
And I'm not saying, and I think like this is where it's hard because I think that there's probably a fine line of like, maybe we were working our kids a lot.
I don't think so. Have you ever been to Japan? Have you ever heard about like how the Japanese educate?
When I say not education though, but I mean like education plus sports and co-curriculars and
that's
all
right
of that.
Because in Japan they don't focus on,
you know what I mean? Like I think if you're doing things like that, you can burn a kid out, and I get that. I get that.
My kids aren't athletic, so
there's a lot of kids that aren't. Those are not the majority of the kids. I don't
That's
feel.
True.
I really don't.
You're right, because only so many kids, you know, our kids go to the same school, and out of all, I don't know how many thousands of kids go to the school, but there's going to be one varsity football team, one JV football team, one freshman football team, and that's it, you know? And granted, that's only one sport, but they're not, you know, like I know, okay, cheer is going to be all year, right? Like that's not something that's going to go away, but football, after football season, they're not going to be doing football.
And I feel like, I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, the good thing is, I'll say she's really taking her studies serious.
Which is great.
She wants to go away. She wants to go to school. She wants to do all of those things. And what I was telling you before we got cut off was, I mean, some of the schools she's looking at are just so freaking expensive.
Yeah.
And I wish she would choose a state school knowing that she's not going to have any debt, you know, after.
Yeah.
But I understand her if that's really where her heart desires, and she gets in, she still has to get in.
Right.
I can understand that, but she is going to have to take out loans, and I'm nervous, like as a parent, do I, like, maybe it's best that she takes out student loans and thinks that she is responsible for all of those loans.
Ooh, yes.
You know? And then I pay the loan.
Right.
You know, I'm not all depending. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to pay all of her loans if it's crazy.
Yeah.
But we have the idea that we are going to be paying for school for her.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that to an extent. But I also want her to be responsible enough to say, if I fail this class, I'm fucking myself up, because it's going to cost me a lot. It's not costing my mom, it's costing me. And then she's going to take it serious.
I think that's the best idea, honestly. Seriously, I mean, because here's the thing. I
don't want it to sound like I'm making it super easy for her.
Right.
She still has to work for it.
Yes.
You know?
So I'll give you an example of two different things that, like, two different situations for me. When I went to school, my mom was a single mom, made very little money. I qualified for the grants, you know, like actual, I don't want to say free because I know the taxpayers were paying for it, but free to me money, you know? So I didn't pay for any of my schooling in the beginning. Because we were poor. So I got money that they did, like the fee waivers, so I didn't have to pay for the classes, and then they gave me money to purchase my books and take care of school related things, you know. I had failed a class while that was happening, but it wasn't amazing, because then it was a class I had to retake. You know, it was like I wasted time, but I didn't waste any of my money. Now, I also took classes after I started with the company I'm with, and they do up to so much tuition reimbursement. And so they would pay, but you have to submit your grades, and if it's lower than their target grade, they're going to deduct the funds from your check. So I never got, I mean, I think a B was the lowest I got when the company was paying for my stuff, because there was no way that I was going to fail one of those classes. Right. I'm not paying for that.
And I think it's something different when you are responsible and you are the one that is on the line and going, you know, it's on me, and I can't afford to mess up.
Yeah.
I can't afford to mess up. And, you know, she's not like a young single mom or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, I have to do this for my baby. Like, she needs I know that her reason should be just her and her dreams and her goals.
But sometimes
life gets in the way too. And sometimes you play and you mess around too much. Mm-hmm. And
especially when you start realizing, like, okay, so in high school, obviously they have to go to school. But in college,
it's all on you.
Yeah. Unless you miss the first 3 days of school and they drop you, you know, but after that, it's like your attendance nobody's going to get on to you about it.
No.
So, which I think is, I don't know, that's a lot of freedom, and not everyone is like built to handle it.
Right.
Because not everyone is responsible. And I think you're right. She does need to feel responsible.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, then what if she does go, and what if this is her time? You know, like, she's not having it in high school, and then college is her time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where she just parties and like just messes around.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully not, because obviously this was the cheapest education. But yeah, it's like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea, to make her take out loans. And then at the end, you guys come in and be her little rescue,
mm-hmm.
you know, depending on the cost. Obviously, some of it might be like, okay, you're on your own with that. Mm-hmm. But hey, I'm sure you guys would have loved people to pay off Tony's loans.
Yeah.
You know?
Heck yeah.
So
we didn't have that option.
Yeah. No.
Which is fine, but it's just.
Yeah. You know. I think, well, I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of people probably don't necessarily expect their parents to cover it, you know?
I don't know. I've been around a lot of people who have said a lot of things about parents not paying for.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess, maybe, I don't know.
It's because we grew up poor.
But I mean,
so we don't expect anything.
But not all of my friends grew up poor.
And did their parents pay for college?
Mm-mm. They took out loans. Which I think student loans are, I mean, that's why the government wants to pay everybody's student loans, right?
That's my thing too. Take them all out. Maybe we won't even have to pay them back.
There you go. There you go. It's possible. Anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
Well, now what are they saying? Now they're granting kids money to go to like Harvard or Yale or something for like nothing.
Yeah, Yale.
Was it Yale?
Shoot, now that you mentioned Harvard, maybe it was Harvard.
I can't remember.
I feel like it was Yale though.
It very well. I couldn't remember which one it is, but I'm like,
yeah,
dang,
I know. I suppose the crazy thing is the cost for school has gone up so high, and it's because why wouldn't it? And it's only going to go up more if the government bails them out, because why wouldn't they charge the government more money, you know? But that's just what, you know, unfortunately, we're just the people. So
I know we are. Sorry.
It is what it is. No, you're fine.
Yes. We'll see. We'll see. I'm curious to see what happens, but I will tell you, I'm enjoying this next year as much as I can.
I haven't noticed you vlogging anything though.
So. I know. I do have something that I do need to post. I need a class. I need a TikTok class.
Wait, you're gonna do a TikTok of her?
I'm gonna do everything on TikTok because
because of the amount of time you have on TikTok. Oh,
you have more time on TikTok.
That's right. I forgot that you had said something had cut you off.
But I need a class. I don't know how to put things together. How do people make TikToks?
I mean, it depends. What kind of TikToks do you
How do you put like a video with a photo with another photo with a video with a? How do you do these things?
Well, it depends. Some of it I know a little bit about.
Okay, well maybe you can show me because I can't figure it out, and I feel like an idiot because I don't know.
I don't think you're an idiot. I think that we are just unfortunately not old. The target market.
So yeah, we are old. I was telling Ashley today that I found out someone that I know, and Tony knows, is younger than we are. And I was like, she's younger than us. And he's all, no. I was like, yeah. I'm like, I must look way older than I think in my head.
Which I don't agree with that. I don't think you do.
Because I'm thinking to myself, I don't feel like I look older than her. I feel like she looks older than me.
I want to see, and I'll let you know. But I think you look younger than you are. Like, I don't see fine lines and stuff like that. I know you're convinced that you're wrinkled and all this.
I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you.
Do you see this? And remember, this stuff is like always there. So until you have a permanent wrinkle, I don't want to hear it.
I'm going to show you this. I don't want to hear this. Is the other day. This is the other night. I'm home with the kids. I don't have any makeup on. Okay. Not that I have any I don't have any makeup on right now.
Yeah, and your skin looks great. Okay.
No, look. What's the matter with my face?
First of all, horrible. It's a blurry photo. Second of all, which part is your horrible?
Look at all of those lines and wrinkles. Look at that.
Okay, I would like to point out that you are smiling. So yes, when you smile, stuff happens. You see how I have
smile,
but you see how I have wrinkles here, and I'm not even smiling right now. You're delusional. We've already discussed this.
That is disgusting.
It is not. Okay, now we have to post these so everyone can see because you're delusional.
Gosh.
You really are delusional. Of course, when you smile, you're going to get some lines at our age. We are not 20 anymore. So, yeah. But I have these fine lines down here.
Walk around like this.
You're just going to have to get Botox. Because
I really do think I do need it.
That's what's going to prevent those lines when you smile.
I just don't want to look like the cat lady.
Well, I don't think that's just Botox. You're talking about the lady with the lips like this? Mm-hmm. And like her crazy old eyebrows. Mm-hmm. I think she's had too many facelifts. Yeah. Too many injections, like filler injections.
Would a facelift be better than Botox? No.
I just don't think that you need a facelift.
There's not much to really lift, I guess. I just need to fill it with Botox, right? Isn't that what it does? Just basically fills your face with...
No, I think you're thinking of fillers. Oh. Botox paralyzes your face. That's why it doesn't... Your eyebrows don't move and no wrinkles appear because it's paralyzed. It's just like a toxin that they put into you.
I know. And
I'm not opposed to toxins.
Tony's so against it. And then I said it at work the other day and my boss was like, don't ever come in here saying you're going to get stuff put in your face. You need to just.
So hold on. You're saying he said, don't come in here. So he only heard you face to face. He didn't listen on our podcast. He's fired.
I don't know that I want him listening to my podcast.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
But I feel like most men are against plastic surgery on your face. I'm not going to say they're against fake breasts because I feel we're totally fine with that. But why are they so against Botox?
Do you think it's that we're gonna need to ask the guys?
Because are they afraid we're gonna get botched?
I don't know. I think Jason could care less if I get Botox. I don't think he cares.
Really? See,
Kyla
Tony
gets
is
it.
So against it.
Kyla gets it, and Jason my sister-in-law gets
she
it.
Gets Botox?
Mm-hmm. Well, she does like Juvederm or so, like not the same brand. It's a different brand, but it does the same thing.
You said Caitlin does, which I would never know. I would never know that.
I know. She just looks
totally normal. She doesn't look.
Yeah, because Botox is, and most people that get Botox, they do look normal because it is literally just paralyzing.
There's so many people I know that look like this though, and like I will say, I'm going to say this: So I listen to Jeff Lewis.
I have not yet.
You need to listen to his podcast. Great podcast. When you're not listening to ours, everyone else can listen to Jeff Lewis. But
if you're not caught up,
but I don't know. His contract ends on the 18th, which is this week, and so hopefully he gets renewed. Is that tomorrow? That's tomorrow. Yeah,
it's today, the 18th.
Oh, the 18th. Oh, okay.
We normally don't discuss the days because
I know. So we'll find out if he's renewed or not.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but he was saying how he's had lip fillers and stuff.
Yes.
They took him out.
So he looks normal now?
I think he still has quite a bit in there, but they took out a lot of filler.
He needed it out.
He needed it out. And the doctor said, he said, I got it done by like a good doctor, but the doctor's like, it was hardening. It was like hard.
Yeah.
And it was not good for him. And I'm like,
well, like, I mean,
he's having a lot of shit fucking removed and done shit. He's doing a lot of shit to his body.
Well, I would be too if I were him. Not to be mean, but I'm just saying Gage was way more handsome than him.
Oh my gosh. He talked about Gage.
Uh-oh. Gage was more handsome than he is, and his lips are horrendous.
But Gage was not funnier than him.
Oh, hell no.
Gage was so serious.
Gage was like paper bag.
A paper bag?
The wet paper bag.
Oh,
I don't want to discuss in the event.
Wet paper towel.
Wet paper. Oh, paper towel? I thought it was a paper bag.
I'm pretty sure I did not say a wet paper bag. I'm pretty sure I did not say that. Pretty sure I said wet towel.
What?
Yeah.
I'm so confused now. I don't know that I've ever heard that phrase.
We're talking about the server we had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wet paper towel?
Yeah.
Wet blanket.
Wet blanket.
Okay.
Wet blanket.
We're so mixed up. Okay.
Yes,
I'm like, I've never heard wet paper towel.
Wet blanket.
And then I started thinking, but wet paper bag would be like they couldn't box their way out of a wet paper bag. Which is completely different than what we're talking about. Okay. So yeah, no, Gage was more of a wet blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were so different.
So I'm nervous. I'm nervous that there's going to be too much. I don't know how many times
I'm supposed to go.
I don't know how many times I'm supposed to go. I don't know
Didn't
how many
I tell you last time?
What did you
I asked.
I don't remember now.
I think it's every 3 months.
Okay, can we, if we do it, can we do it together, and then that way we're on the same cycle? We're already synced on cycles. We might as well Botox on the same cycle.
Well, but where are you going to go for Botox? And well, no, I guess I need Botox for this type of stuff.
I don't know,
but I want to get my
Dr. Chin?
No, she goes to her mom's office.
Her mom has an office that does it. Like her mom works for a med spa or something.
For a dermatologist.
Oh.
Hers
look good.
I need threading right here, but then I need Botox on the rest of this.
Well, I don't know. Let's find a doctor. Let's do it together.
Okay.
How expensive is Botox?
That's a really great question. I do not know. Yeah, she said about every 3 months.
Ask her how much it is. Sorry.
Well, she's not going to be able to tell us an actual price.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, she might be able to know how much it normally is, though.
Okay. You guys, sorry for this. I'm going to do live.
Well, I need to know because can I even afford Botox? I've got 2 kids in school.
Do you guys have a health savings card?
No, I keep telling you no.
Well, I'm sorry. I think it's insane that you don't have one. Why don't you have one?
First of all, you know why? Because we don't go to the doctor.
Well, you should.
No, I shouldn't, because then all they're going to tell me is I have an injury that I don't even know about, and it's just fine.
I'm fine. Tiff was right about that. I think Tiff's right. I was very convinced that maybe she just knew some stuff that you didn't know. But no, I think Tiff's right. I think she saw your tattoo and maybe felt the thickness of it and thought it was a scar.
No, so
sorry that I keep doing that with my lips. I have canker sores up at the top and they're bothering me. Don't look so disgusted. It's just a mouth ulcer.
Well, why is your mouth ulcering?
Normally, when I get stressed, it happens. Or when my immune system gets low.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay, so I need to know if I can afford Botox.
Okay.
What else was I going to say? There was something else. I don't know.
Botox.
Okay.
Often.
But I'm going to say this though. Okay. So I feel like guys in general normally don't want women to do Botox to their face. They don't want them to touch their face.
Do you think it's because they don't want to do it to theirs and so they don't want you looking way younger than them?
But this is what I want to talk about. So in the last episode, we were talking about penis enlargements.
Yes. Okay.
So what guy wants to get a penis implant? What kind of guy does that?
Okay.
And I must be the same kind of people that want the vagina tighten people. You know, that's the new surgery right now.
I didn't know that it was new. I feel like it's been around for years.
Well, I feel like it's super popular right now.
Oh, it's super popular.
Yes, like everybody is getting a vagina
maybe
tightened.
People should stop doing so much stuff.
I'm like, I don't want anyone touching my vagina. The children have already come out of it. And no, and honestly, I just feel like if I start fucking having surgeries down there, shit's gonna start falling out. Oh, it's not necessarily the
That was so rude, whoever it was. Maybe they caught a kid.
It's not necessarily so much that they're tightening them. It's that they're doing that surgery where they make you have orgasms.
Well, I'm fine. I don't need that.
But do you know what I'm talking about?
I have them, not because orgasms aren't important. They are very
important. But do you know what I'm talking about? They like inject your
clit?
I think it's your clit. It's either your clit or your lips or something. And it gives it a sensation. And I don't know how long it lasts because you have to keep doing it.
I feel like there's actual stuff you could rub on yourself, and I'd rather do something like that than get my vagina shot.
Yeah, I don't
want shots in my vagina.
I feel like if he just works a little, I'll be just fine. I don't need to have a shot.
Extra sensitive. I feel like I would be extra sensitive. And then what? Then I'm driving down the road and I crash because I had an orgasm? Like, what? No. Sometimes you're driving and you're like, oh. So if I had that surgery.
Well, let's be honest. You could be wearing one of your little gadgets and then you could be doing the same thing. But that's the other thing.
True, but I wouldn't wear it while I'm driving.
If you wanted an O, right?
Yeah.
Could you just wear, I don't know. It's kind of the new bizarre thing to me that people are doing this to their bodies.
Yeah, I don't feel the need for that.
I don't want to inject a needle anywhere down there.
No.
So what guy is doing this surgery?
Okay.
He must be fine. You know what? He's probably a guy that would be fine if I had Botox.
Here's the thing. I've done some research. Okay. Not as much as I did about vaginas. Okay. Ooh, thank you.
You're welcome.
But I did do some research, and I'm gonna have to pull it. Oh, that's just wine, guys. If you're not watching us, which you should, Spotify. Okay, so here is what I've learned. One thing I learned is that I was originally looking up implants, penis implants.
Yes.
Which those are typically recommended for people with ED, not just to make you have a larger penis. Those are, if you have ED, that after they've tried other treatments, if those don't work, then they may discuss an implant with you. So, the implants also super confused. So one of them is a semi-rigid and the other is inflatable, which I know I've heard about the inflatable one, but then when I'm looking into like how it works, it seems super not great. Like, okay, so this is the inflatable one. This one is a 3-piece one. So something there, and something there.
So you've got something that goes into the ball sack.
So something that goes into your sack, something that goes up like more in your abdomen, and something that goes in your penis. And the way that one works is
penile implant.
Yes.
Okay.
So the cylinders that are inside the shaft, those would fill with the fluid that's in the reservoir, which is typically in your abdomen. And then the pump inside the scrotum is, I believe, how you get the reservoir to start filling the shaft.
So you're saying that they're basically taking that fluid and moving it into the penis?
That is what I've come up with based on the different things, the different sites that I've looked at.
Okay.
Now, super confusing to me because the pump is in the sack. And you can't tell me that someone's down there doing this to their sack. Like, is it just like a light touch that you have to, like, I don't know how much. I would
be so nervous that my sack was going to like burst.
Yes. That I was going to, like, I mean,
really, I'd
hurt myself.
Yeah.
Like, people wear cups to keep their sack protected. So, super confused on that. That is probably the most natural type situation. Okay. Because with that one,
it's still all your
completely
penis.
Flaccid. Yeah, but also like completely flaccid. You have to do the little pump to get hard. The other one.
How do you do the little pump?
That's what confuses me because it's in your sack. Mm. So I'm like, how do you pump it? It confuses me. I don't know how that works. Okay, so then there's the 2-piece one. And the 2-piece is just going to be the part in the shaft, cylinders in there, and then there's, instead of there being a reservoir, there's only the pump. So the reservoir and the pump are one. And so the pump you're not using to give pressure to the reservoir, the pump is like the reservoir. And so it's coming up from your ball sack. So the other one, the fluid's coming from like your abdomen into your penis. This other one, it's coming from your sack to your penis. You still have a pump in your sack regardless. Yeah, I know. Super weird. And then there's the semi-rigid, which you're always hard. Now they do say, I know that's what was so confusing to me when we were talking about this, because I'm like, okay, how do you get, unless you're doing the pump, how do you go? Okay, so the semi-rigid, the penis can be bent away from the body or toward the body.
Away from the body? What do you mean?
Like if you need it to be hard and like bow chicka wow wow, okay, you're away. And then I guess, I don't know, then you kind of like tuck, I guess.
But it's still hard?
Yeah, it's still, which hurt. Okay, so with that one, there can be more injuries.
Yeah.
Okay, so because the penis is always hard, right? Like it's not getting any break there. So that is one. And also something, let me read you this part about the semi-rigid because it concerns me thinking that this is in there. It says that a positionable penile implant is a semi-rigid device with a central series of segments held together with a spring on each end. It makes me nervous to have a spring in there. What if the spring dislocated and like ripped your whole penis off? I don't know if this is an option. So I don't think so. It just shows like this is the device.
So when you're saying, so I guess when you're talking about a penis enlargement, you're not adding on.
So not necessarily, because so those are the implants.
Okay.
Enlargements. So this is something, I guess I couldn't find anything on like growing lengthwise.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this one does seem to be, it would have to be a surgery.
Oh, and girth.
Yes, it adds girth. So what it is, it's silicone, and it's a sleeve that's like 2/3 of the length of the penis. And it's just essentially, it's under the penis skin, which, I mean, any guy that's listening, I feel like if I were to talk about like opening a vagina up and like placing something in it, that's like would make my vagina hurt. So sorry if this is making your penis hurt. But yeah, it goes under the skin to make your penis thicker. It just adds girth. It doesn't add length. So I don't know. Maybe there is something where they can add length with silicone, like how you were saying, it would be at the tip, right? Mm-hmm. But then, so my question, I couldn't find anything on an implant like that, only the Girth one. My question, if you were to put something to lengthen it, one, is that something that they do in stages? Because if you've been circumcised, you don't have extra skin to grow really much more than you're growing with a boner.
Don't you feel like even with these implants that if you're pumping fluid and that's how your penis is basically getting bigger, right? Don't you feel like then does that mean that the penis actually does have more capabilities of growth?
So it's not that that the fluids are making it.
It's not like a balloon.
Longer.
It's not like an animal balloon.
No, it's making it hard. So what it is and why I'm assuming why they use it for ED is because my guess is when ED is an issue that like the blood isn't pumping in the penis to make it hard. So the reservoir is pumping this fluid to make it hard.
Yeah.
So that's my guess. I didn't see exactly why, but that's what I assume the fluid's about. The only thing that discussed actually like growth of some kind is the girth. But if say they were to put, let's just say, I don't know how it would work. I've never looked inside of a penis, like dissected one. So I feel like maybe I'd have a better answer.
So close to it. How could you not dissect it?
He's just never let me cut it. I don't know. It's so weird. But if say they put silicone at the tip, because I did show you a picture of a procedure where they had like opened up down there. It looked very
it looked
horrible. Terrible. And my guess is they probably like to get this stuff in your sack, like the pump and all that, right? Like maybe that's what that image was.
Yeah.
But I know it doesn't sound.
Yeah.
But I mean, I
get themselves
right. But like it mentioned, it's the majority of the time is going to be ED, and I guess it's. Okay, do you want to be able to get erect or not kind of thing, you know? So I could see where in a situation like that, someone would be willing to, I guess, like no pain, no gain kind of thing. And like, even if I have to go through the pain, even if it takes like, say 6 months to recover, which I doubt, but say it did, then at least at the end of the tunnel, there's that light.
Yeah.
Rather than, okay, I'll never have sex the rest of my life. Kind of thing. I don't know. But back to the silicone part. If you put silicone in the tip, so you add on a little extra head, not an extra head. You're just going to push the head out, right? Okay. You're going to put a silicone head on. My concern would be, how do they stretch the penis to allow for that addition? Mm-hmm. And then the other thing, how solid could that silicone be? Because how are they going to ejaculate through it?
Oh, yeah. Well, and I was just thinking, like, is the feeling the same?
That's another, you know? That's kind of what I was wondering about this kind of thing.
Even though you have the feeling on, like, the sides of it, but that tip is very sensitive. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Do you get that same feeling?
And even with these other things, say you didn't get that done, I was wondering, because I mean, there's so many nerves, right? Yeah. And I have nerve damage, like I have nerve damage on my foot from a procedure that I had. I just had a foot surgery. It's not like I had some weird like plastic surgery for my foot. No, but when I was younger, and the doctor had to give me an injection after it, and he nicked one of my nerves, and so I to this day still have, like, if you touch that part of my foot, I want to punch you. And so I wonder, like, what would the risk be in that? Because that's a very sensitive area.
Yeah.
So I feel like you would be more likely to have something happen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you can enter somewhere else, like, I mean, the reservoir being in the abdomen, okay, great. You could come in like you were doing gallbladder or something, I feel like. But how do you get the stuff in the sac?
Yeah.
I mean, I know science is crazy and technology has come so far. You know, they can do surgeries with little bitty holes, but I don't
know. Luckily, our husband's penises are so big that they'll never, ever need to have a surgery. So this is not why we were doing this research. But it's very interesting because it's like I'm hearing all of these things that people are now doing with their bodies. And I'm like, what in the serious?
What is
how does that even
what is
work?
the need?
And why do you do that?
Okay.
Botox, I understand.
Sorry, I have to. Okay, yeah.
Botox, I understand.
Yeah.
Breast implants, I understand.
But with
liposuction, I understand.
But the vagina and the penis, to me, it's like I mean, I guess depending on who you are, not going to have a lot of visitors down there.
No.
And if you don't want to be with me, like if Jason was like, I want to get a divorce because of your vagina, then I'd be like,
maybe their business is their vaginas and their penises, and that's why. I don't know. ED, I guess I understand. I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. But that girth thing has nothing to do with ED. No. That's cosmetic.
That's cosmetic.
Yeah. Which they did mention, you know, it's like the doctor that's performed some surgeries said he was very happy with the results and that kind of thing. It's not as popular, but it's also not a surgery that, you know, insurance covers. So it is going to be less popular than a surgery you could get insurance to cover.
Does insurance cover ED?
If there's a medical reason, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So they could get stuff covered.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Like if you had ED because of, like, say they found out your ED was caused by this. Yeah, I know, right? Then something like that. Which, like, if you think about it, like, okay, for me, hysterectomy, would insurance cover it? It would. Is it something that is like I'm gonna die if I don't get it done? No. But are there things like we could go through steps of doing different types of procedures, and then that proves to the insurance company,
I think hey, you need to do it for your back.
Boobs. My boobs. I know. I need to lose weight though. That needs to happen first because I'm not having anyone do anything with me until I can get myself to be decent.
Do anything with me.
Well, because if I were to go in, say right now, and have them do something with them, then I lose weight and then I'm going to have saggy tits again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like,
it makes sense.
I mean, I know that was a great image for everyone that I have saggy tits, but, you know, I want them to take the extra skin while they're in there, and I want them to take as much extra skin as possible.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that one cosmetic, the others seem to be mainly for ED. But I was reading because there was an article basically that, you know, a lot of men think there's like they're lower than average or, you know, whatever, when really most men are going to be average. You know, maybe I guess if you're a smaller person, you're probably going to be a little smaller. I mean, sometimes there's always those shocking people. Again, I was with a super tall guy, really small. So, I mean, he probably should go get that girth one done if he hasn't already. His parents have money. I'm sure he's fine. So, yeah, little pencil dick. But it's like, for the most part, honestly, aside from him, and I'm not saying I've been with a ton of people, but aside from him, I've never had like sex with someone who it was like, oh my gosh, this person has such a small dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, yeah, some guys are bigger than others, but I think you have to be very small and very skinny for it to really be
an issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, it's like, I mean, I guess unless you have a gaping hole, you know?
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like, I don't know. So I think it could be a self-esteem issue, you know, like maybe say someone, when they were in 7th grade, someone pantsed him in the locker room and then people started talking about his wiener and then he struggled with it and blah, 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 you know?
How about guys who decide later in life because their parents didn't do it
to get circumcised? Yes. I know someone who got circumcised at like 14 and it was not good. One of my friends, her husband in his first relationship, they didn't get him circumcised. Like it was like they didn't want to spend the money on it. And so then he's circumcised. They didn't circumcise his son. And then he gets with my friend and my friend's like, if he ever asks to get circumcised, we're paying for it. And now it's going to be an actual like surgery cost, right? When they're little, it's like what, $200 or something. Like I didn't even get charged for my boys.
Yeah.
But like my sister had Medi-Cal and Medi-Cal doesn't cover it. And it was $200 for my nephew, you know? So it's like, it's not outrageous.
No, it's not.
But so then they had kids. They had 2 boys. Their boys both got circumcised. And so he was the only one who wasn't. And around 14, he told them that he wanted to get it done. And she said she felt so horrible for him because they tell you like, you can't get an erection. And so he would wake up in the morning screaming because he'd have morning wood. You know, like there's no way to not make it happen. You know, it's like, especially at that age, you know, when you're going through, what's that called?
Puberty.
I almost said menopause. That's where I'm headed next. So, but yeah, when you're going through puberty and you get random boners all the time, you know, it's like, there's no way around it. And so poor kid, like, you know, he stayed in his room pretty much like all of recovery, just, you know, like,
do you remember what the recovery time was on something like that?
I want to say it was 1 to 2 weeks.
Wow.
So, I mean, not a crazy amount of time, but still waking up for 2 weeks with morning wood and screaming, you know, that, So, I mean, he was happy afterwards that he had it, but it was one of those things where my girlfriend was like, you can't do that to your kid, you know, like, don't. Like, if everyone in the family doesn't have it done, then fine, everyone in the family does. But you can't have it done and then not have your kid, you know, because like dads teach the boys how to pee and stuff like that, you know, so it's like,
and they're gonna figure that out.
Yeah, like, why do I have this and you don't? Or, you know, just like girls will say like, Dad, where's your vagina? Or, you know, like,
well, yes, I had this big talk, and we're getting close to the end here, but I had this big talk with Georgia about why does Dad not have to go to bed with a shirt on, but we do?
That's a good question.
You know, and she's like, well, Dad has chi-chis. And I'm like, well, Dad doesn't have chi-chis. Yeah. But Dad has nipples.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, what are nipples? And I'm like, God, here I am explaining the difference between a chi-chi and a nipple to my 4.5-year-old. But it's because when he goes to bed, he doesn't sleep with the shirt on, and she wants to know why that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, why does Dad get to have his chi-chis out? Yeah. Which, I mean, it makes sense. And, I mean, they do notice those types of things.
And we're very big about the girls, you know, dressing in the rooms, and they're getting to the age now where it's like, it's not appropriate. You're not like a baby. And you are a little girl.
And you don't want them in front of, you know, like, they've come out and like, we're here, you know, which like, I'm a girl, a little different, right? But Jace is here, and it's like, Kate, like, Jace shouldn't see him, and, you know, that kind of thing. But, yeah, they don't, sorry, you guys, time for medicine. They don't really realize that. Yeah. But they do pick up on a lot of things, you know? Kids do at that age. So I think if you are one way, you should, I mean, now I guess if you're uncircumcised and you hated that you were that you were uncircumcised and you're like, I'm going to get my kids circumcised, I guess that's a little different because you went through it.
But you can't be circumcised and then not circumcise your kids. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, even not being circumcised and circumcising your kids might be a little hard because I wonder what they would ask. Yeah. Because if they're like, well, I want mine, where's mine at? You know, I don't know. Yeah. So any guys that want to share that info with us, I'm sure they don't particularly.
I'm sure they don't. And I'm sure that for most men who are not circumcised and they look, it wasn't their choice. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. For every guy out there that isn't circumcised, it wasn't their choice to not be circumcised. Yeah. That is what their parents chose for them. And that is what it is. And I guess I would take it more like when you do it to your own kids, it's like, yeah, mine's different because, I mean, I would totally throw my parents under the bus.
Oh, I would too.
You know. Yeah. My mommy, my daddy didn't make that decision. They didn't make the right decision. I'm doing it the right way. Yeah. You know, you'll appreciate it later.
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously, you can see which way I would go if I had a little boy, right? I don't have to worry about it. We're not having a boy. We're not having any more kids.
Having a boy, honestly.
Oh, okay. But you know what?
It was. The doctor thought Jason pressured me into getting Hayden circumcised.
Well, you're
because I was crying so much.
A big crazy person, like big baby. Yeah, not big crazy like
you. No, I am big crazy also. Big crazy and a big baby. Yeah.
Okay, well, that was a lot of penis talk for today, but
so,
I guess
hey, we
that
made
follows
it up for all the vagina.
Yeah. Vagina. We heard someone said that we said that word a lot.
No, we said panties a lot.
Panties. And thank you for the listeners who messaged us about our episode and how much you enjoyed our vagina talk. So, thank you so much.
We do appreciate it. Thanks for your input.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for swapping with us.